The plasma membrane surrounds and protects the cell interior. The membrane is made of sheets of phospholipid molecules. A phospholipid has a water-attracting head and a pair of water-repelling fatty acid tails. Membrane phospholipids occur in a double layer with their heads pointing out into the water found on each side of the membrane. A biological membrane is, in effect, a two-dimensional fluid in which membrane lipids trade places thousands of times a second. This fluid aspect of membranes helps explain their extraordinary ability to fuse and self-seal.
Osmosis is defined as the diffusion of water through a selectively permeable membrane. The rapidly moving water molecules have no difficulty zipping through the shifting lipids that make up the plasma membrane. Whether more molecules of water enter or leave a cell depends on the concentrations of dissolved materials, solutes, on either side of the plasma membrane. If the concentration of solutes is greater outside the cell, then the overall movement of water will be out of the cell until equilibrium is reached. If the concentration is higher inside, then the overall movement of water will be in until the concentrations balance. Water behaves this way because organic molecules such as sugars and the ions of dissolved salts interfere with the movement of water molecules, lowering their probability of zipping through the membrane. The red blood cells racing through these vessels contain about 1% solutes in the form of salt ions and organic molecules such as hemoglobin. Under normal conditions, red blood cells have a distinctive biconcave shape. Subject the cells to a 2% salt solution and observe the result. Then flood them with distilled water. A paramecium living in pond water low in solutes faces a similar problem. Water is constantly entering the cell by osmosis. Paramecium and other freshwater protists have an adaptation that solves this osmotic problem. A network of invisible collecting tubes that empty into a central reservoir called a contractile vacuole. The contractile vacuole pumps excess water entering the cell through osmosis back into the pond.
The plasma membrane allows small molecules such as water, oxygen, and carbon dioxide to pass through, but larger molecules, like sugars, must be taken in by other methods. Embedded in the membrane are protein molecules that form channels. These exchanges require no expenditure of energy by the cell. Also in the membrane are proteins that bind to particular kinds of molecules, transferring them through the membrane. Transport proteins that move molecules against their concentration gradient require energy, a process called active transport.